The sky over King's Landing did not bleed red that day, it bled violet. It was the peak of the war for the Iron Throne. Daenerys Targaryen's army was camped outside the mud-stained walls of the capital. Cersei Lannister stood on the balcony of the Red Keep, her cold eyes fixed on the horizon, ready to burn the city to ashes before surrendering it. Jon Snow stood beside the Dragon Queen, arguing for the survival of the innocent. The air was thick with tension, ready to explode into a bloody civil war. Then, the sun disappeared. It wasn't a cloud, nor an eclipse. A shadow, stretching across the entirety of Blackwater Bay, fell over the continent of Westeros. A monolithic metallic structure, easily the size of the entire city, descended from the heavy clouds. It hummed with a low, vibrating frequency that made the stones of the Red Keep tremble and the water in the bay boil. From the underbelly of this colossal starship, a mechanical, booming voice echoed across the land, translated into the common tongue through a cold, artificial synthesizer. Attention, primitive Tier 1 organics. We are the Xylar Dominion. Your planet's resources are now the property of the Empire. Your primitive feudal structures are dissolved. Lay down your iron blades and surrender to our collection squads. Resistance will result in immediate vaporization. In the Galactic Council, humans were considered evolutionary failures. They had no natural armor, no telepathic abilities, and their tech level on this world was rated as sub-industrial. The Xylar Dominion expected these primitives to fall to their knees and worship them as gods. They didn't know who they were dealing with. Inside the alien flagship, Commander Vrak stood over a holographic display of King's Landing. He wore liquid metal armor that could deflect high-energy plasma, and his eyes were completely black. Deploy the biopurification squads, Vrak ordered, his mandibles clicking in amusement. Clean the streets. Leave the structures intact for our mining drones. Hundreds of slick, black alien dropships, the very ones seen in watermarked _57262017782034465526.png, detached from the mothership. They descended like metal locusts, firing blinding blue laser beams into the city. The defense towers of King's Landing, built to withstand trebuchets and battering rams, exploded into clouds of stone dust under the relentless laser fire. The Golden Cloaks fled in terror as alien infantry, 8-foot-tall insectoid creatures wielding plasma rifles, marched through the breached walls. Commander Vrak watched the feed, expecting total capitulation. But instead of running away, the primitive humans did something completely illogical. They charged. From the Red Keep's courtyard, Cersei Lannister didn't weep. Her face twisted into pure, venomous rage. "They think they can take my city?" she screamed, turning to Qyburn. "Unleash the wildfire. All of it." Deep beneath the city, the hidden vaults of the Mad King were triggered. As an alien landing squad marched over a cobblestone street, the ground erupted. Not with primitive black powder, but with a roaring, uncontrollable sea of emerald green wildfire. The chemical fire was so volatile and intensely hot that it bypassed the aliens' kinetic energy shields. The liquid fire melted through their liquid metal armor, dissolving the elite Xylar soldiers into screaming piles of green goo. Commander Vrak's eyes widened at the monitor. "What is that substance?" "Our scanners didn't detect any petroleum matrix." "It's not technology, Commander," his sub-officer whispered, trembling. "It's alchemy." Outside the walls, Daenerys Targaryen looked up at the metallic beasts defying the sky. She felt no fear, only an overwhelming royal fury. These star-dwelling creatures had dared to interrupt her conquest. They dared to threaten her children. She climbed onto the back of Drogon. The massive black beast, larger than any machine the humans had ever built, let out a roar that shook the very foundations of the earth. Rhaegal and Viserion flanked him, their scales gleaming in the harsh light of the alien lasers. "Dracarys!" Daenerys roared. As shown in watermarked _45395842118934502112.png, Drogon flew directly into the swarm of alien dropships. He opened his massive jaws, releasing a stream of fire so concentrated, so pure, that it burned blue at the core. The Xylar ships were built to absorb plasma bolts and laser energy, but they were not prepared for the continuous, living magical fury of a dragon's breath. The intense heat caused the cooling systems of the alien ships to fail instantly. One by one, the sleek sci-fi dropships exploded in midair, raining burning debris onto the battlefield. Regal dove beneath a hovering gunship, using his massive talons to rip through its anti-gravity engine blocks. The ship spun out of control, crashing directly into an alien infantry column. On the ground, Jon Snow drew Longclaw. The Valyrian steel blade caught the reflection of the laser fire. "With me!" Jon shouted, his voice rallying the combined forces of the Northmen, the Dothraki, and the Unsullied. For the first time in history, mortal enemies fought side by side. Dothraki screamers rode their horses directly toward alien infantry, dodging plasma bolts with supernatural agility. When a Dothraki arak struck an alien shield, it bounced off. But Jon Snow realized something. Valyrian steel. Jon yelled, parrying a plasma blade with Longclaw. The ancient, magic-infused steel didn't melt. In fact, it sliced straight through the alien's kinetic shield like a hot knife through butter, decapitating the creature. Their shields can't stop Valyrian steel. Tyrion Lannister, watching from a distance, quickly analyzed the enemy. They rely entirely on their technology. "Take out their communication spires, and they are blind," he shouted to the archers. Using ballistas originally designed to kill dragons, the Westerosi soldiers tipped the giant arrows with wildfire containers. They fired them directly into the glowing blue thrusters of the low-flying alien corvettes. The resulting chain reactions tore the alien frontline apart. Commander Vrak was losing his mind. His elite subjugation fleet was being dismantled by humans wearing fur and leather. "Send the heavy orbital strike. Demolish the entire continent," he roared. The massive alien battleship began to charge its primary laser, pointing it directly at the island of Dragonstone. The sky turned blindingly white as the energy built up. But the Xylar Dominion did not understand the planet they had invaded. Westeros was not just a piece of rock. It was a land of deep, ancient magic. And the excessive energy from the alien battleship's weapon triggered something deep within the earth. Beneath the volcanic foundations of Dragonstone, a seal that had remained unbroken for 10,000 years finally shattered. The ground groaned. The sea around the island began to churn into a massive whirlpool. And then, the earth literally tore open, exactly as captured in watermarked _MG_9481926719207190665.png. An ancient, colossal black dragon, a beast so massive that Drogon looked like a hatchling next to it, emerged from the smoke and molten lava. Its scales were as dark as the void of space, and its eyes glowed with a terrifying ancient golden light. This was the cannibal, the oldest and largest wild dragon, mutated and empowered by the volcanic magic of the deep earth. The beast let out a sound that wasn't a roar, it was a sonic boom that shattered the glass cockpits of every alien ship within 10 miles. The colossal dragon spread its wings, which literally blocked out the sky, and launched itself into the upper atmosphere. The alien flagship tried to turn its main weapons toward the titanic beast, but it was too slow. The ancient dragon rammed directly into the side of the 3-mile-wide flagship. Its teeth and claws, hardened by millennia of volcanic pressure and magic, tore through the starship's hull plating like wet paper. Inside the bridge, alarms screamed in red lights. Hull breach. Section 4 through 12 destroyed. Structural failure imminent. Commander Vrak fell to his knees as the deck tilted wildly. Through the reinforced viewport, he saw the massive dragon's golden eyes staring directly at him. The beast opened its maw, revealing a furnace of white-hot cosmic fire. "May the gods face us," Vrak whispered in absolute terror. The dragon unleashed its breath. The white-hot fire consumed the flagship from the inside out, cooking the power cores. The 3-mile-wide alien marvel of engineering broke in half, exploding into a brilliant supernova that illuminated the entire night sky of Westeros. The wreckage of the Xylar fleet rained down into the Sunset Sea. The remaining alien ground forces, cut off from their network and terrified by the sheer ferocity of the humans, surrendered or were hunted down by the Dothraki. The war for the Iron Throne was paused. Daenerys Targaryen and Jon Snow stood on the ash-covered fields, looking up at the sky. They had proven that whether it was a sword, a dragon, or a starship from the unknown void, Westeros would never bow. Months later, a single, damaged escape pod from the flagship drifted back into deep space. It contained the automatic logs of the battle, transmitted back to the Galactic Council. The Council viewed the footage in absolute, horrified silence. They saw primitive humans running into plasma fire without flinching. They saw liquid fire that wouldn't extinguish. And they saw monsters of flesh and bone that could rip starships out of the sky. The High Chancellor of the Galaxy closed the file and issued a permanent decree to every spacefaring civilization. The third planet of the Sol system, specifically the region known as Westeros, is hereby classified as a Tier Omega death world. Do not approach. Do not attempt negotiation. They are a species that tames monsters and plays with fire. Leave the humans to their throne before they come to take ours.